Welcome back, guys. I've just opened up the basic scene here. This is the scene that you'll be getting as well, just to discuss what I have and how I have it set up before we get properly started. So I have the basic gray environment and the character animation, and I've got the layout circles that are my timing and scale reference for now. The full shot is 220 frames, which does include the shield. So I've just set the timeline to 130, just so that when we start wrapping out stuff, we're not writing down things we don't need. And then there's a couple of lights, and I've got this null, which I'll be referencing for my ROPs. I've set some aliases for cache locations and render locations, and this is basically goes to that location, sets the name to the name of the object and then to the name of the ROP, and that'll just help keep things simple once we start writing stuff out. Let me take a quick screenshot just to discuss how I'm currently thinking about the effect. From a director or client point of view, I would be assuming that if he's traveling into this location from somewhere else, you at least want the effects to move outwards. I'm using a mouse, so don't judge. Instead of basically having stuff moving in, because out implies an exit, and in just wouldn't make sense. So I'll be kind of sticking with that. You don't have to. There's lots of ways you could do this, but I'll just do the basic sci-fi trope. And another thing to think about at this point, because the shield is taking up the full top half of the camera, compositionally it's kind of interesting, because you would have these lines that sort of travel out into the scene, and these are useful for drawing the eye into the spot that you want. So hopefully we'll draw the eye of the viewer into this spot before the character even jumps through. And I can already tell that to make this, basically I just need a source, and I want to throw out smoke or particles radially from that and take it from there. In terms of the settings, everything's default. The color settings are default for now. We might change them later once we see how the color ramps are reacting, and we will end up setting up lookup tables, LUTs for our renders and for compositing. So for now I'm just going to put down a geo, and I'll cut this video short and carry on in the next one. But just to talk a little bit about my usual workflow, is we'll be making two effects. So we start with the portal. I'll make a geo, and I'll try and get as much down in here as possible. And then if I want more layers to add complexity, I'll usually put down a bunch of, like put down a new object and maybe object merge something from here into that, and then carry on working from there. But for the most part, I want as much as possible in one. That's just the way I work. You also don't have to follow that workflow at all. So I'll end this video here, and I'll catch you in the next one.